Well, as the cases rise around the world, lockdown restrictions are being eased here in the United Kingdom. The government's now encouraging people to go back to work, eager to kickstart the struggling economy. But what implications does this have on the spread of the virus? Well, joining me now to talk more about this is Bharat Pankhania, a senior clinical lecturer at the University of Exeter. Very good evening to you, Doctor. Listen, we see what's happening in Florida, a sort of global epidemic of this virus now. We've seen the President of the United States himself finally wearing a face mask. And yet here in the UK, some sort of mixed messages from government that they're not going to be mandatory, but people are being encouraged to wear them. Should that be the case?
So it's lovely to see President Trump finally biting the bullet and wearing a mask. Makes me smile. And I feel it's about time the United Kingdom followed suit too. Ambivalent messages, mixed messages, unsure messages cost lives. The United Kingdom has been slow in being forward, and we should bite that bullet as well and say, you are entering my shop, you will wear a mask. It should be as clear as that.
Why is it so important, though, given that even in the scientific community, the use of them is disputed? I mean, it's only really helpful if you're asymptomatic and you don't know that you're actually carrying the virus. It's not going to protect you from catching the virus if you wear one.
Good. So what we want to do is we want to wear these masks to reduce the volume of infectious droplets coming from us. And we know from our own Office for National Statistics that 80% of the people have been infectious without symptoms. So we've got people going around their normal business perfectly well, perfectly okay, but they are infected and infectious. So for people in crowded places, buses, trains, shops, where other human beings are, the idea is you wear a mask, I wear a mask, I don't infect you, you don't infect me. That's the plan. And it is not 100% fail-safe, but it is reducing the risk in risky environments.
Government today is saying that people should go back to work if they can. Does that surprise you, given that the R number is almost as high as 1 in many places in the UK, and we're seeing outbreaks on an almost daily basis?
Yes, and indeed, that mixed message of if they can. What does if they can mean? I have always stood by that we lifted the lockdown prematurely. What can you do? We've got to live with it. So I am advising that when you do return to work, do one thing. Make sure that there is good sanitation, timetable hand washing, wear a mask. And one more thing, because we learned from the WHO only a few days ago that there may be an aerosol spread element to this as well. So you insist that there is good ventilation in your workplace.
I wanted to ask you about that, because that's something of a game changer, isn't it? I mean, in the week that we've heard Rishi Sunak coming out saying eat out to help out, encouraging people to go into restaurants in closed places where we know now that airborne droplets can help to spread the virus. Is it a good idea for people to go and eat out?
It's a good idea to eat out, provided you're eating out in the garden. If you are eating out in the restaurant where there's too many diners, there are several layers of risk. One, you will speak with a louder voice. Louder voice equals more droplets coming from your mouth. Secondly, if there isn't sharp, good, extra, additional ventilation, that also we feel is an additional risk factor in a confined environment. So I would be saying, if you're going out to eat, pick the restaurants where you can sit outside and eat your food.
You know, when it comes to confined environments, there aren't any really much more confined than an aeroplane. Lots of people jumping on board planes, going off on their summer holidays. What's the best way for them to stay safe?
Well, if you will pick a good quality carrier and there is enough spacing between seats and passengers, and you wear a mask during your journey, that is the best you can do. And of course, also hand wash. Everything has its risk, but a near half-empty plane is a better idea than a jam-packed plane with a lot of people.
Look, suggestions that this vaccine might not make it for the autumn, as some optimists had hoped. What are your views on that?
Yes, without a doubt. I have always been skeptical that we can invent a vaccine in record time. So I feel we shouldn't have put all our eggs in the vaccine basket. We still shouldn't. The only thing we've got is hand hygiene, distancing, masks, and those sort of things. And we continue. I don't think there will be a vaccine by autumn, not at all.
But ultimately, the vaccine will be the best way out of all of this?
Well, no, again, I feel don't put all our eggs into the vaccine basket at all, because we may never make a vaccine. And we need to be truthful and honest with our people that we're trying to make a vaccine, but we may not succeed. Coronavirus is really a complicated beast, and it doesn't make memory. So we're not sure if we will succeed with a good quality vaccine.
OK, Dr. Pankania, Senior Clinical Lecturer at the University of Exeter. Thanks so much. Always good to talk to you.
Thank you.